Good morning and welcome. It's Good Morning Anambra Thursday episode, and we're so delighted to welcome you to today's episode of the show. My name is Nonye Nwokoye. Thank you so much for always waking up with us. And here is welcoming you to the press review. All right, good to have you join us on the press review this morning. In the studio, I have Mike Opia joining us to review the papers. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I also have Henry Duru. Henry, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
All right, here are the rules of the game. If you want to join the conversation, because it's audience participatory, you're free to call us when the time comes, and make your own opinion count on any issues raised here. And of course, there's a time we take a look at some of our national dailies to see stories making the headlines, and of course on ABS website. And let's begin with stories making the headlines on ABS website. Anambra State Government restates resolve to enforce tougher measures against rape. SEMA takes a sensitization program on impending flooding to Obaro Council area. Delta State Governor Okowa extols Soludo on fight against insecurity transformation agenda. Mrs. Soludo assures of vocational training for patients of Nteje Rehabilitation Center. SEMA NEMA continues sensitization and awareness tours of local government areas on impending flooding. I think number one and the last one should be taken together. All right, up here.
I'm very much interested.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I'm from Obaro.
Okay.
And each time there is this warning about the pending flood and NEMA and SEMA sensitization, our people always not responding. They do not respond positively to it because of the what happens at the ID camp, I'll call it now. Camp, because one of the remedies is for people to be warned that their homes, their farms will be flooded, and then there will be a movement. There will be a camp where they will stay for that period of a month or a month and a half before the flood resides. But then the issue is not sensitizing them. Okay, they will take care and know that it's coming. Those who have relations outside will even travel out. But the major issue is when this flood came and there is this camp becomes worse than concentration camps. You get in there, no water. You get in there, no mosquito tent, no provisions at all. You get in there, rape and unnecessary sexual attacks takes place, and nobody is held responsible. So in most cases, our people prefer to stay on boat on top of the river instead of going to the camp. You see, because when you get to the camp, you can't. In the first place, you can't go cope because the crowd.
I haven't seen this. Now, what's your suggestion?
My suggestion is that the SEMA and NEMA should make adequate provision.
Okay.
Now, as they are sensitizing the people, let them make adequate provision for people's camping. At least there will be mosquito nets. At least there will be some amenities that make life. In fact, we're not talking about power. When you get to the camp, no light, no water, nothing. Nobody wants.
And
to
is it possible to have male and female camps
separate? Male and female camps. That's what we are advocating. But in most cases, just pack everybody, old and young, male and female, to one hall. Okay. So I think I'm pleading with NEMA and SEMA now that they've taken it upon themselves to sensitize the people. Let them also do the needful by having provisions, lively provisions with people when they are in that camp.
All right, Henry, I don't know. You're looking at...
I think, first of all, let me say that I am fully in agreement with the last point he had just made. You know, it's not all about asking people to move. You have to show them where they are moving to. Just like what I've discovered in this country, all over this nation, people are asked not to dump refuse indiscriminately. Maybe when you take sachet water, you don't drop the sachet. But where do you drop the thing into? You don't find waste bins around the streets. And even within institutions like universities, I've had such problems getting into some campuses. Then you have something to display, you don't see where to. So it's not all about don't do this or do this. The means of doing that should also be provided. Then another one that actually attracted my interest is the pledge by Anambra State government to take tougher measures against rape. You know, when crime comes to rape, fighting it becomes complex because of stigma. You know, there are cultural taboo, or there is cultural taboo around sexuality. And because of that, people who are victims of sexual violence don't always like coming out.
Are you going to even cover up the present case that we have of a girl that the kidney was affected?
Yes, so
it got me emotional on air this morning.
Yes, issues like that, speak to the fact that we need to be a little bit sophisticated in the way we try to address crimes like that. It's not the same way we address crimes like armed robbery. Because if I'm a victim of armed robbery, or any other person is a victim of the person will boldly come out and then say that. When you have someone who is ready to come out to say that, yeah, this thing happened to me, then it becomes the lead that you need, the stepping stone for you to start your investigation. But in matters of sexual violence, at times you don't even have that lead. That's necessary stepping stone that you even require. So that is why after many years, you might begin to hear that somebody has been suffering abuse for many years.
And refused to speak.
Yes, and refused. So I think fighting it is not just all about prosecuting offenders, but actually putting measures in place that is going to encourage people to come out. Measures that will actually lead to, first of all, getting the necessary information, the information needed to start up an investigation. I think that is key.
And in addition to you, my brother, sanction from historical perspective has never assisted to stop crimes. After all, there are life imprisonment or death sentence to armed robbery, and people are still robbing. So the best thing, like my brother was saying, to this issue of rape is to start from the remote and immediate causes. Let us educate our people, both men and women. Let's bring back our cultural values. Let's look into the causes of this incessant rape. At times, I look at it, I say, is it part of the end of the world as the Christians will preach, this time of the end time, or what is really going wrong when a man of 70 is raping a girl of 3 years? What is attractive in that? So you begin to wonder what is happening. So I think we will look beyond sanction and look into the causes of this incessant
all right, point noted. Let's move on now. The first paper for review is the National Light, and let's see our papers this morning. On the National Light, Japan to partner Anambra in vegetable production exportation. Lesbian stabs partner's hobby to death in Onitsha. Anambra reintroduces history in schools. Another killer virus, Henipavirus, found in China. Abuja Kaduna train attack, 7 more abductees released. And Anambra intensifies flooding sensitization in vulnerable communities. Ayu must resign, says Bode George. Father, son suffocate to death in Kano while drilling well. Brother kill uncle in Anambra community over land proceeds. Well, tension in Ebonyi Azumahi Biri traders clash. A lot of stories in front of the national newspaper. I don't know, which one are you taking? Opia.
I am excited about Anambra reintroducing history in schools. In fact, I do not understand.
One governor was actually against it.
This is part of the problem. How can you bring up a generation of the people that do not know their past?
Their background.
Where they are coming from. Would they know where they are going to? These are part of the problem. When we are talking of rape, this is part of the problem. When you have a generation of the people that do not know where they are coming from, they will not know where they are going to. And the most important, the most annoying aspect of it is that what is the brain, the idea, the reasoning behind banning history in our schools? When we were in primary schools and secondary school, in fact, history used to be my best subject. Okay. Now, if you you see, this is the problem. Now, I have a sad experience now when doing a project with the Ministry of Environment and Education, Anambra State here. There's one of these my colleague who won a scholarship in Germany, and he was to assist in developing curriculum for environmental education for primary and secondary schools in Anambra State. He went to the Ministry of Environment, they went to the Ministry of Education. They would now learn that Anambra State has no even authority to develop curriculum for primary schools without national input, national acceptance, without national approval. He made me mad. Because the environmental issue in Anambra State is not the same in Zamfara, in Borno State. Why would it be a national issue? And this is what is happening in this history. So I want to give Professor Soludo 3 bosas for this. And we will support him because this is not just to introduce history. People will be there trying to pull, because the reasons for prohibiting history in schools is to cover what happens during the Civil War and the rest of them. And we must know what caused the war and how we should avoid it. So I give you thanks, Professor Soludo, for this.
All right, Henry.
Japan to partner Anambra in vegetable production, exportation. I think it's quite unfortunate that we as a nation are appearing to be realizing it just too late that agriculture is the way to go. If you look at our dwindling oil resources or oil revenues and scarcity of foreign exchange as a result of all the issues, complex issues around our oil industry, including oil theft, you will discover that if over the years we have actually upheld agriculture, at least it would have helped us to solve our food problem. Then we guarantee our food security and stop importation of food, because we import a lot. You know, we are hardly self-sufficient in food. By now, given the vastness of our land, the vastness of our arable land, we shouldn't be talking about food importation. We should be talking about food exportation. I remember I read an interview. Someone talked about how, I think it was General Philip Effiong, or one of the generals during the war, how after the war he started, he wanted to, he started a company to manufacture tomato paste. But the problem was that getting enough tomatoes, within to be able to carry on with the business. So you discover that this is an area that we have underexplored. If we explore it and we're able to stop importation of food and be able to even export food, then our currency, we get strong because we have a favorable balance of trade and balance of payment. Why are we complaining about the Naira falling? You are producing nothing. You import. As you continue to import, your currency will continue to get devalued, and you continue to impoverish your people. And that is why today, because we are importing fuel, it's getting very expensive. See diesel. But assuming we are just importing only fuel, we are exporting others, then our currency will be strong. So when even we import fuel, when we have a strong currency and then we exchange it for dollar, and then import fuel. I don't think fuel is going to be that very expensive, but because dollar is nearing 1,000 naira now, so by the time you import anything using that currency, when you come in here, it will get very expensive. So I'm going to commend the Anambra State government. I will only advise that that partnership be pursued to its logical conclusion. It is something that is going to really help the economy of the state and the nation at large.
All right. Remember, it's a press review and it's audience participatory. You can call with the phone line on your screen to make your own contribution. We now move to the Daily Sun newspaper. We take two at a time, Daily Sun and the New National Star newspaper. Let's see stories making the headlines on those papers. On the Daily Sun, NAF bombs terrorist base, kills Kingpin, 17 others. With riders there, rescues 26 hostages in Kaduna, 6 family members of ex-military governor and 60-year-old lady kidnapped in Kaduna train attack regain freedom. Pressure mounts on Ayu to quit as PDP chair. You must keep your word, Bode George tells him he must go. Rep. Party can't waive rule for one member. Baraje. Okay, tame your supporters. Tinubu wants LP presidential candidate. God anointed Obi to be president of Nigeria. Senator May talking. Mimiko Health Wike's doggedness, says Rivers governor's boldness sustained agitation for true federalism. Politics not about mere talking. That's coming from Wike. Muslim ticket. Pope hasn't told me to reject DG appointment. Lalong. Harin Hapok. Amnesty International writes, but Abiamila demands compliance to resolution to probe Premier Academy. FG reverses approval for Seplat to buy ex-mobile assets, supports NUPRC. Okay, Nigeria treating terrorism with kid gloves, says Akere Dolu. Drug war, DPO, 60 others back jail term for drug trafficking. And ASU, civil society groups ask NLC, TUC to begin mobilization for general strike. Decries FG's failure to resolve unions' demands within 2 weeks. Then on New National Star, we can see Obi replies Tinubu supporters issue-based. Obi replies Tinubu supports issue-based campaign. Okay, we also see lesbian staff partner's husband to death in Anambra, and power must return to South in 2023. Akeredolu insists. Why are dismissed policeman extorting money? Others, IGP talking. All right, let's shoot for want of time. Quickly.
Now, the issue of ASU and civil society groups, and
I know that's where you go.
Yeah, I think Nigeria should be shut down because of this president, the FG's ineptitude and carelessness about this ASU issue. Yeah, I don't see what is so intractable in this ASU federal government rift that it could not be resolved over these years. Over these months, what is the problem? In fact, years, because it's not a matter of today. What is the problem? Is there a reason why this strike is still festering? That reason should be out when this country is shut down. And I will now know that this government has failed totally. Because, you know, there are a lot of things that is happening because of this strike. There are many students that have died because they went into some businesses that they shouldn't have been into in the first place if they were in school. There are issues that are happening. So it is not a matter of people not being in school or lectures not going on. There are social implications. So I think we should join ASU. Every trade union, every citizen of Nigeria should join ASU and then go on this strike so that the federal government will know that they have failed totally.
Okay. Henry?
Yeah, the major story in the front page of National Star will be replies Tinubu supports issue-based campaign. I think that is the way to go at this moment in our national history. Our politics should be sober. We should focus on issues. Just as we are talking to politicians and political parties to ensure that they address issues and avoid deviating you know, emphasizing things that I would describe as mere distraction or even destructive, like trying to play ethnic and religious card. These things don't help. Just as we are talking today, we're also talking to other Nigerians, the supporters of these candidates, because at times the supporters might even tend to be, they may tend to be fanatical, you know, and even say things that will embarrass their own candidates. So I think it's a call on all of us, because we gain nothing by emphasizing things that do not really matter, things that constitute distraction, or we even derail our process, the process of democratization and pursuit of national development and growth. So it's advice on all of us to approach this election with all the seriousness that it deserves. Our discourse should be defined by issues that are very important, that are very relevant to the goals we are pursuing as a nation.
All right, quickly, the Punch newspaper, The Nation, that's the two papers we're taking together this time. Dwindling revenue, Nigeria facing existential threat, World Bank warns. Which riders there says country ranks lowest in income amongst the 115 countries. Insists subsidy should go. Federal government borrows 2.45 trillion naira from CBN in 6 months despite fiscal risk. Sheet your swords, Bode George tells Atiku and Wike. And Buhari makes U-turn on Seplat ExxonMobil deal. Flutterwave hires 200, grows workforce by 38%. 2023, wrong choice will consume Nigeria, says Obasanjo. And in front of the paper, these are the people released. But the irony of the whole thing is that 7 were released, then 5 were abducted. Is it to replace the ones released? I don't know where we are actually going in this country. Our massacre security agencies begin manhunt for financiers. Okay, we move now to The Nation newspaper. Let's see stories on The Nation newspaper. PDP crisis, why are you must quit now, by ex-party chair. EFCC to try 3 officials for altering pardon lists. And okay, on that PDP crisis, okay, they write down the PDP crisis says, Bodejo, chairman, candidates can't come from one zone. Now, train attack, terrorists free family of 6 hostages, rein in your supporters. Tinubu campaign council tells Obi. We also have Akeredolu urges Nigerians to shun religious division. All right, let's...
let's look at Punch.
Okay.
Nigeria facing existential threat, World Bank warns. Nigerian as a nation, as a country, we are not even a nation, as a country, is at the cliff. Very soon, we will slide, will fall into the deep hole that we will not survive it as a nation. My problem is not that these people are borrowing. My problem is that the government, one, has lost idea of how to revamp or revive or get Nigeria back to the path of development. They have no idea. The worst of all is that they do not agree that they don't have idea. The third reason is that they are just comfortable where they are. And things are going from bad to worse to ugly by the day, and they don't care. So you begin to wonder the type of people we have in the system, this federal government of Nigeria. So that's my part of the problem. The economy has already collapsed. But the problem is that those at the helm of that affair do not even know that it's collapsing.
Okay, can we look at the warning coming from the elder statesman, Obasanjo, that wrong choices is going to consume Nigeria? Henry, what do you think?
Definitely. If we make, because we have been making wrong choices, not just about
2023.
Yes, not just about 2023, and not even just about those who lead us, but also about the the paths we have actually taken as a nation, certain decisions that we have actually made as a people. So that is just trying to re-emphasize what I said just now, that the next election should be approached with all seriousness. One of the ways to avoid making a wrong choice is by keeping the discussion strictly around the issues instead of bringing in extraneous narratives that will confuse us and even distract the whole process. So
and I think at this point it's important to bring in what Akeredolu says, that Nigeria should shun religious or whatever division that could bring about division in the polity.
Yes, definitely. Because when I talked about extraneous narratives that bring about distraction, what I have in mind primarily is ethnicity and then religion. Because those ones have this tendency to bring about division, to bring about acrimony, anger, so much so that we forget competence, we forget the real issues. We don't even come to look seriously and critically at the manifestos, at promises the candidates are making. I remember Bishop Kuka once said long ago that ethnic politics is really confusing the narrative in Nigeria. When you bring up an issue is mounted on the table for us to discuss. But once people give it ethnic bend, people just become emotional. Emotion and intellect don't go together. So once you are emotional, you are no longer thinking well. That is why they say anger is small madness. So ethnicity, it is something that is emotionally charged, just like religion. So by the time we allow it to be around our discourse about this election, it's going to distract us a lot, and it's an easy way, just the shortest route to making the wrong choice.
All right, quickly, the Daily Trust, and these are the papers we're looking at. The Daily Trust. Now, Pope not against my Tinubu's campaign DG of Alalong speaking with riders there, says Shetima's election not a religious affair. Obi supporters defaming me, Tinubu talking. It's not true, LP presidential candidate speaking. 2023, Sultan Khan signed pact to de-escalate religious tension. Dariye to run for Senate after prison release. 109 billion naira fraud. Ex-Accountant General Idris seeks plea bargain. Early signs show tight Kenyan presidential election. Buhari support regulator backs down on Seplat purchase of Exim. Okay, how Kaduna scholarship loan scheme is changing indigent students' lives. Jay's Bank grows balance sheet to over 300 billion naira. Then on this day in Isupa, we see Wamako to Wike. You did not lose PDP primary because of religion. We tried as the party's crisis. National Working Committee may have dished Rivers governor to back Ayu. Council boss berates Meba for attacking governor. We cannot return Rivers to bitterness, Abe tells Wike. And Lalong, Buhari is chairman of APC Presidential Campaign Organization. Okay, a lot of stories in front of those papers. Again, terrorist free. Okay, 7 more. We've seen that in the other papers. Quickly.
Let me take briefly the Pope not against my Tinubu's. The Pope cannot come out to tell Lalong, even if it's the Knight or Papa Knight, to not accept the being the DG of Tinubu campaign. Like my brother was saying, the issue is not, when people keep making noise on the Muslim ticket, I said, this is a waste of time. You know what is good for you, and someone has done the wrong thing. You make alternative choice. It's like what Obasanjo is saying. Don't allow somebody who ignored all the factors that makes Nigeria what it is, and you are doing something against it. Allow that person to see whether he will win and do what is right. So the Pope cannot. If Lalong is a Christian, I want to be the DG for. Let him see how he will sell his product. So that is not issue. But the issue we are talking about these supporters or whatever, those who fight in victory don't fight rough. Because you give your opponent the weapon for defeat. So when people begin so vulgar and talking, there was a time Obi said, leave me alone to respond to it. That I do not support, because we have, the supporters have right to respond. But when you are responding, what is the principle of your principal? The man you are supporting, what is his principle? If you go against his principle, you are no longer supporting him. That's what only we know, because people will come and say we are supporter of A and B, while they are not. And they come up with issues that will even negate the principle of the supporter, that will cause a problem. So the issue is, let all the supporters of all the political candidates know the principle. There are those who are known for violence and thuggery. So that is just my advice to that.
You want to say something on any issue there?
Yeah, the crisis in PDP. I have said it here before. I don't know why a party will have crisis within it, and that crisis is revolving around one man. And that is still evidence of what I've been saying, that our political parties are not strongly built, institutionally. These are just like vehicles, for people, individuals, to achieve their selfish political goals. Assuming that these political parties are strongly built like an institution, I don't think one man will have that level of influence. And I've been listening to him to even understand what he wants. I don't really understand. And that tells you that we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to establishing our political parties as the bedrock of our democracy.
Okay, let's see who is here. Hello, good morning. Hello? 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 We seem to be having network issues here. All right, go on.
So, because if you look at our political parties, you will see one man will be in party A, then the person loses ticket, the person goes to party B, and we even go there and becomes the kingmaker in that party. So you wonder if this party has been strongly built as an institution. When you come in, you queue up. If you look at Americans and see the way they play their politics, somebody like Bush, in fact, members of the family, when you begin to hear about their political history, a lot of they have been in that party right from the time they were in school. So, and then they rose through the ranks until they got to the top. But here it's all about you having the money, or you being this person or that person. You leave this political party, come into the next one, you become the kingmaker, determining who is going to. So it tells you that institutionally these parties are weak, and they don't have the institutional strength to carry, to be the foundation of our democratic structures.
Okay. We move on to the Nigerian Tribune and the Guardian newspaper. These are the last two, but not the least papers for review this morning. Fair grips PDP leaders over worsening Atiku Wike's feud with riders there. Rivers governor's sacrifices made PDP a strong opposition party. That's coming from Mimiko. Buhari reverse approval for, okay, we've seen that before. Bandits abduct Ango Abdullahi's daughter-in-law, 4 grandchildren in Kaduna. Bandits relocate. We've seen that Idris Ojo, Kuje prison KP, not one of suspected Owo Church attackers. Akeredolu, DHQ clarify. Okay, suspended Accountant General Idris, 6 plea bargain in 109.4 billion naira fraud case. Then the Guardian newspaper is the last paper we're looking at. Presidency, turn of South despite religion. Akeredolu insists with riders there along. Pope hasn't opposed my... Okay, we've seen that story before. Resign as VP candidate to save APC from embarrassing defeat. Middle Belt Congress tells Shetima. Lalong's appointment as Tinubu's campaign DG, political miscalculation, says group. PDP party elders move to constitute campaign team, seek patience to end the crisis. Buhari, okay, we've seen that before. And Akeredolu explains mix-up in arrest of Kuje prison escapee Idris Ojo. Okay, a lot of stories there. And let's see, on the Nigerian Tribune, there's this story there about the suspended accountant general. It has repeated in several papers. But before we go into that, let's see if we can welcome this person. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and your location, please.
My name is Femi Thomas. I am calling from Benue State.
You're welcome, Femi. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to react on the statement credited to Chief Obasanjo. To be sincere, Chief Obasanjo has been a military head of state, and he has been a civilian head of state. He has seen it all. The advice which he has given to Nigerians, if we heed to it, it is going to yield a better result. But if we refuse to adhere to the advice which that elder statesman Obasanjo has given to us, it is late for Nigerians. Now, if Nigerians meant well for themselves, they should vote a credible candidate. They should not look at these money bags. They should vote for Peter Obi. Peter Obi is God that is sending Peter Obi to Nigeria. But I know that many people will not understand the sign because they are looking for money. Nigerians are so much hungry that 1,000 naira can make somebody to do what is not expected of him. But my sincere advice too is for Nigerians, is for us to adhere to the advice given to us by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. For the PDP crisis, let me tell you, what PDP did to Governor Wike is not something to write home about. Okowa has not contributed anything. A man who came second during the PDP convention was relegated to the back seat, and another man who got only 3 votes during the PDP convention is choosing as the running mate to Atiku. If that injustice is not corrected, done to Wike, let me tell you, PDP is heading towards precipice. That is my contribution this morning. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Femi. Thank you very much. One call that is more than fire. Okay.
You know, Femi said it all. Before now, we don't have alternative choice. But now, from all indications, we have alternative choice. So if we make wrong choice, we shouldn't blame anybody. But I want to talk about the suspended accountant.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The suspended accountant general Idris seeks plea bargain in horror and 9.4 billion naira case fraud. What is the plea bargain? This is I don't know whether it is one of the ways.
I think let's take this call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and your location. Talk and do. You're welcome.
Calling from Ghana.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Like the last speaker has said, even the Ghanaians are becoming obedient. But that is by the way. In one of your sister's stations, saying that the issue flag bearer to caution people in Labour Party, linking them to separatists. We are Biafran, but you have to count one before you count two. One thing leads to another. P2B is coming to help Nigeria to solve problems they could not solve. What does it take to set an industry? 100 million naira. Do you know how many industries that it will produce for people to be engaged? The people in the main market engaging boy at the main market, how much are they using to engage people? That they cannot use that money to better the post life. Tinubu, as leader of APC, what advice has he given to the president? As it stands now, that will make people to have confidence in him as APC. Then coming to PDP, what efforts are they making after all the efforts that people have made to support them right from time till now? In fact, Nigeria is a mess. May God have mercy on us.
Amen. Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, quickly, for want of time, before we wrap up the show.
The suspended accountant general and the plea for plea bargain. For me, these are one of the legal ways, quote unquote, to promote corruption. What is plea bargain? He has been accused of diverting 109 billion, 0.4 billion. First of all, the question is where this fund intact.
Okay, please, for want of time, we can't go any more further than this. And please, for our callers, I wonder why the calls are coming in late. We can't take more calls because our time is fast spent here. Please, tomorrow will be another day on this platform, but I would like to appreciate you so much, Henry Duru, for coming on the show. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Opia, Mike, for being here.
Thank you very much, and I follow President Obasanjo. Let's make the right choice.
All right, that's just about it on the press review. More programs coming up on Good Morning Anambra Show. Don't go anywhere.